Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to the video. This is my trading vlog and let's go over some trades from today. I want to talk about a few things in particular. So let's get right to it here. So I trade the NASDAQ futures and this was the pre-market session. It was the non-farm payrolls this morning. Pretty much a non-event, nothing very notable happened. We popped up to these 250s, 247 to 250-ish was a low volume resistance area, and we popped and then we just faded right back down, and we had this point of control right around the 215th, and then it sort of became 218 in the session. All right, this was the open of the market. I took an impulsive short right here, and let's just go over that real quick. I don't quite like this trade. So generally these 20s, as you can see here, we're sort of accumulating here and we're not really trading these 20s yet. Now I traded it as soon as we hit that 20. I didn't quite like this trade at all. So just watch this, how we're trading sort of in these 20s, and then we try for a low here. Just take a look. And again, this sort of movement where we're just kind of sideways. So there we go. We try for lower prices, 223, and then I get interested in a short. I don't know why I acted so impulsively there, but as soon as I saw us break under this 22, I decided I wanted to get short. And bad idea, because that was an impulsive break, and it wasn't a large impulsive break. It wasn't like there were notable stops here and traders going to be trapped here, for example. So what happens is I realized that I was offside pretty soon after, because we did see a bear break with no follow through, and then I ended up getting stopped out on that trade as we kind of just chop and then we pop real quick up to these 30s to take me out. So not a great trade there, and you're gonna see me get stopped out. And then after we popped to the 30s, then I saw some more aggressive sellers start to come in here. And at this point I started to think, all right, it might be more likely we actually come down and test these 18s, potentially the 15s, and where we had originally stopped moving, which was around the 207s down to the 200s. So again, identifying these key price areas is very important for taking your trades and knowing where to trade and when not to trade. So look at how I manage this trade. So you can clearly see that it's on my side, and there's sellers here. They're pretty aggressive, a bit of accumulation right there around the 20s, but we're seeing lower prices. And I like this, right? I'm on side on the trade, but I want you to take a look at how I manage the trade. So you're gonna see I'm kind of getting ready to put in a buy stop to break even there. But then I'm seeing how this is reacting, and I'm seeing it pop right back up and then up, down, up, down, up. So this is a bit of a tough situation, because when you're on side on a trade and it's morning like this, and the morning session can be very erratic. So look at how it just pops from that 17. And generally this is risky at this point, because I'm looking at the sellers and I'm saying, okay, can we hold above the 20? And it's trying to hold above 20, and then it just can't quite do it. And this is me just like looking at the price action. Is it going to come back up above 25? If it is, I'm likely going to cut it. So there we go. We had a pop right to 24 3/4 and instant rejection. So that's something that kept me confident there. And again, we're just chopping these 20s. I have a buy limit in at 15, and I'm liking the selling. They're kind of holding it down here. And then you're going to see my limit get taken out there. So ideally, if I was trading more than one lot, I would have taken a limit here. So there we go, the limit got taken out, and we traded a bit lower. And I was just looking for this 15 as it was kind of approaching the lower part of the range around the 210 to the 206, which was the general support that we were watching. So look at how it trades down to 11. And you're seeing a lot of size pick up there, right? Look at all these contracts, and then we're not really seeing notable selling. And what ends up happening is we just bounce right back up from there. So I was right to take it off around this general area, because it's a general area of support. So our volume point of control was in fact around the 18 to the 20 for the most part of the session. Okay, so then we're trading higher prices above the 30s, holding the bids above the 30s. You come down here, test the point of control, and then can't trade it and then move higher. So take a look at how this market's trading higher. So now, as the market's moved up, we are now into our general resistance zone of 47 was the general area. The low volume area is not always one price, but you have to kind of identify where it starts and where it ends, so that way you can give yourself a bit of breathing room as to where you're going to keep your stops and how you kind of gauge the trading position. Okay, so you're going to see here I got short, and I'm short at 43.75, and it's sort of fading, right? You kind of see how it's holding the bid at 40, and then I'm looking at if it can hold the bid at 40, right? Because we've been seeing this sort of bounce off the little moving average. This happens quite often where they're holding the bids and making it look kind of strong. Now, this is something I want to talk about. It's the fact that when we come to a resistance zone, for example, a low volume resistance zone, most new traders and inexperienced traders are looking for a breakout. They want to be part of this move going up because they think that the market's trending higher. They can clearly see that the support is holding, the moving average is holding, and it looks like we're painting a bull flag and we want to move higher. Now, my argument to this is that this is exactly why it works, because traders are looking to get long here, thinking that the resistance zone is going to pop and we're going to continue to see higher prices. And again, look at how we see this sideways consolidation, and then sooner or later it tries again, and then it just can't quite do it, and then we're just trading lower, right? So that's an example of a typical bull flag and then fade, right? And normally this would just fade down, but what happened was we caught some buyers here. I just want to look at how those buyers came in, and I stopped out the trade break even, pushed above those highs. Again, we're still in a low volume area, so we had a nice push and a nice rejection, and that got me to go short. Again, it wasn't a great fill. Actually, I admit that was quite a bad fill. It was quite impulsive. I had to wait for that one a little bit. 45 quarter. And what you're going to see is that we kind of try for higher prices a little bit, and then we slowly fade, and then that was it, right? So, and again, if you look at how the market consolidated up here, look at how it consolidated. So it made it look very bullish, almost as if the buyers are coming in to hold this moving average and we're going for another leg up. Here we go, guys. So that'll get a lot of long traders on board, and that's exactly what we need to go lower, because they need to be sellers when we go lower, right? And that's like part of the game, you see? So you see here how we're struggling to even hold the 40, and we're just kind of chopping. And I like this. From a seller point of view, this is good, because you can see that how we consolidated near the moving average, pretty bullish, and now we're losing it. It's a sign that the sellers are starting to take control. So look at how they take control. We trade under 40, and then nice sweep down to 30. I'm looking to see at least down to the point of control. So we trade down to the 30s here, and I'm not ready to cover this trade just yet. And you can see how we popped to 38, couldn't regain 40. A bit of consolidation, and then we had another second leg down to about our point of control, and that's pretty much where I was looking to cover the short here. So you see I was wanting 1550, but once I saw the buyers come in, I said I'm covering at 2250. We consolidate around the point of control, and we're sort of holding it, right? It's the 18 mark to the 20. Now here you can't see that it's a point of control, because this is only a partial volume profile. On my other trading view chart here, I have the volume profile on the larger time frames, and that's generally the profile you want to be keeping an eye on the most. So what happens is we end up bouncing from here, we trade higher, we gain 30s, and you can see that the bulls have a lot of momentum. We pull back down to 30, hold 30, and 30, this was interesting because I got tricked by 30 later in the trading day. So 30 is not really an important price, but it was acting as a pivot point. You can see here that we pulled back right to there, held the bid, kind of chopped, and then we went for a second leg up. So I was thinking later in the trading session that 30 was going to act as a point of control. So that's something I have to be cautious about in the future, is giving too much weight to certain price points that kind of act as support and resistance but are not real support and resistance. And again, that's an interesting topic. It's fake support and resistance. So what's real and what's fake? That's the thing. This acted as temporary support here for this little pullback. But again, that's not real support. And that's a tough one, right? How do you know that it's not real support, right? That's a tricky one. Anyways, so we pop, we're coming back up to our low volume resistance zone. We kind of pull back, and look at how we trade down to our 30s again. I grabbed a short there because I saw us failing, and I thought we were gonna come back down and test these 20s. I took a short and I covered way too early. So what happens is we see a little bounce up to these 30s, and again, the 30 here acts as resistance. It kind of rejects it at this point. And again, this is giving the idea that this 30 is an important price zone, right? A lot of traders are looking at this 30 saying, okay, it acted as support and now it's acting as resistance. So yes, in some way, it is acting as an important price point. But when it comes down to certain other things that we're going to get to later in the video, some price points take precedence over other price points. So volume point of control, number one. Low volume node, number two. You know what I'm saying? And then this would be like a supplementary price pivot, I guess you would call it, okay? So we're kind of chopping here, and I think we try for a lower low. There we go, 24s. And again, coming close to our point of control, which would have been around 18. So we come up here and it looked like we formed somewhat of a higher low, and then we start to trade higher 28s. And look at that, we trade lower again, right down to 19, and we break the lows. So, you know, it gives the idea that it's gonna start there, give the idea of fake support, and then sooner or later we see a bear break. So we break all the way down to these 13s here. And again, remember earlier in the session, I was talking to you about this 206 area, and then that's the level I noticed pre-market where it just was like there was like a wall there, and it just couldn't trade lower than that. So we traded as low as 206.50 and then started to catch a bid instantly. So just watch that. So look at how it trades down here, 207.50, 206.50. and I had it written there, LVN absorption, and then right away we're trading at 209. So that's a sign that there's some buyers coming in, and then look at that, 212. So that's a lot of buyers right there. Push it all the way up to an easy 6-point move right off of that low. And then what happens is we kind of start to catch a bid here, and I get long a bit impulsively, and I had a problem with this trade because I knew that we were coming down into this general area. I was looking for us to potentially regain the 18s and the 20s, and I liked what I was seeing on the tape. But again, I had to give it a little bit more breathing room. The thing is, because my fill wasn't great, I had to kind of probably have a stop a little bit under here and not right at my break even. So what you're going to see here is that we trade higher, and then I stop the trade out at break even once it tests 215. So we come down here, test 214, and then start trading higher from here. I managed to take part in the move later, caught a nice long there, but still not great anyways. I had the best entry down around the 15s. Hard to stay long. So a great rally right there. And what happens is we pop all the way back up. So let's skip to the later part here that I really want to focus on. And it's this. Okay, so we have a bull break above our trading range. Now we're trading into the 60s, which is also a low volume area. So this was the longer term volume profile. And the LVNs started around the 60s all the way up to about 66, and then where it really got thin was above 70. Okay, so that's why I wrote on the chart, you're gonna see here it's LVN starting around 66, and then I had LVN high all the way above the 70s, right? Because there was like different degrees of where the low volume area exists. So what happens is we trade up here and we're strong, right? Now we start to consolidate and we're trading back into the 50s. All right, so this is what I got wrong right here. The fact that we had just popped above our trading range and now we're selling off. So look at me trying to buy every dip. So look at this dip I bought right around after we tested 51 or so. And again, 51, there's no support there. There's no real support. It's just that that's an area that I saw the buyers kind of come in. And 250 was a point of control on the longer term chart. Again, so we have short term point of controls and longer term point of controls. That 250 was a point of control. So look at how it trades down here. We're kind of accumulating some sellers right there at 251. And then we start to lift a little bit, 252. And that right there would have been a decent trade, right? A bounce off the point of control. And you can see how we sort of lift a little bit. And I decided to take a long trade there. I kind of like what I was seeing. So I got long right there, 53.50. And what ends up happening is that that was not real support. So I stayed in this trade too long. We popped for a nice maybe 6 points. And then we sold off from there. So that's not the type of trade you want to stay in. So what ends up happening is we sell off, it hits my stop, and I'm out. So at this point, we're trading back into the 40s. Okay, we're coming back into the previous trading range. This is what I got wrong, guys, and I have to focus on this. Look at me trying to get long again. We are trading into the trading range again. I'm trading against these sellers. I am on the wrong side of the market right now. We're trading back into the trading range. The long traders who entered long on the break of the trading range or on the entire bull move earlier in the day are now getting tested. That's what I had to realize, okay? So at no point here were we seeing bids being held, okay? We saw offers being held when we had these rallies. So we had a rally, instantly rejected the 55s. We had a rally up to about the 49.50, rejected it, trading lower, okay? So we're trading back into the trading range, and I'm long. I'm on the wrong side of the market. And again, it's the fact that the market was in a trading range, broke out of the trading range, and now is coming back into the trading range and testing out the traders who thought that we were not going to stay in the trading range, aka the longs. So I had no reason to get long here, and I was on the complete wrong side of the market. So that was the second time, and pretty much I managed to give back my 30 points of profit in these three trades right here. So we had a pop right there, and I managed to kind of save it. We held the bid right around the 40. And what's going to happen is I stop out right there. So then I'm starting to get the idea. I'm starting to paint myself a picture that this 40 is potential support. And again, it's not. It's just an area that we bounced off of. It's not real support. So what happens is I'm starting to look at this, and when I see the sellers come down here, and I'm looking at how we're chopping this area, I'm playing this price as a support level. That was a wrong play right there. I should not be playing this price as a support level because it's not even a support level. Simple. So what happens is we trade up to the 40s, we try it a little bit, and then we're seeing lower prices. We're trying for the 40s, and I think I cut it right here. As soon as I see us trading 39s, I'm cutting this because there's no support. I realized that there's no support. I was like, all right, what am I doing here? There's no support nearby. Looks like we're heading down to our point of control again, which was down at 218. And what do you know? We trade down to 230 and then 220, and then we're back at our point of control. And there you go. There I am again getting long, right at the point of control, because I think, all right, now it's enough. Now I have to get long, because now, for sure, since we're at the point of control, that for sure we're going to bounce, right? For sure. But again, not necessarily. So look at how this price action develops. We trade 215s and we're going sideways here, trading 219s. Point of control is about 218 here. We try a nice bounce. I'm about 5-6 points in profit. Good little bounce right there. And then it just gets slowly sold. And again, we stay within this range. And then I think I stop out. Exactly. So just some bad trading here. This is just me giving back all my profits. So I was up about 35 points in the morning, and then I gave it all back. So that's just stupidity. Nothing else to say here, guys. Well, I did come back to trade in the afternoon a little bit. I'm flat on the day, but if you want to see my trade log, there it is. Win rate was actually quite bad. I didn't count any break evens in my win rate today. So I only counted 10 winners. So win rate was bad. P&L was bad. Well, actually, the P&L was flat. It's just that this is pretty much just the commissions that I paid. And yeah, so we did all right. We had some good winners in the afternoon. I just wanted to go over that sort of price action. All right, guys, if you learned something from this video, leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions about volume profile and this kind of stuff, leave it in the comments below. If you think I can improve on something, leave it in the comments below. All right, take care. Ciao, guys. Bye.